the Town of Fairfield Conservation Commission acting as the Inland Wetlands Agency agenda for October 5th, 2022. And here we'll take roll. We have, we'll start with Kate O'Mahony, Peter Hood, Brian and Dabney, myself, and Jay and Jerry. Jerry hasn't been here for a while. He will recuse himself for tonight's meeting, and I'm going to appoint Kate for the entire meeting. Jerry wants some time to catch up. So, but thanks for coming, Jerry, and I'm glad that everything went well for you. All right. So, call to order, appointment of alternates, and approval of the draft meeting minutes. So there were three meetings: the Inland Wetlands Site Walk from August 31st, the Inland Wetlands meeting from September 7th, and the Inland Wetlands Site Walk from September 21st. Do the commissioners have any questions or corrections for those minutes? No? Okay. Motion to approve the minutes. Okay. Seconded. Yep. All three at once. Yeah. So, all right. Good. So, did you get Peter and Dabney? Okay. Yep. We'll go right on to Roman 4, public hearings, which is continued hearing. It is WP 22-226, Fitzpatrick, 80 Hubble Lane, map 173, parcel 26, construction of a single-family dwelling with stormwater detention and subsurface sewage disposal systems within a regulated area. Decision may be made if the hearing is completed, or the hearing may be continued. The original 35-day public hearing time frame to complete the hearing ends on October 12th, 2022. A 65-day extension may be provided by the applicant, so a further public hearing continuation to December 16th is possible. A potential continuation date, November 2nd, 2022. The staff recommends approval with conditions. Commissioners, if you recall, we started this, we continued it, and council's here, I believe. Substitute council. Good afternoon. Or good evening, really. I think this is the one where we have to push.
That one in particular, you do not have to.
Okay, good, perfect. So that one's on the whole time?
Okay.
Perfect, that's a better way. So, yeah, keep it on and right next to you. Go ahead, Council.
Chairman, members of the commission, Chris Russo with Russo Rizzio LLC, offices at 10 Sasko Hill Road in Fairfield, Connecticut. Here on behalf of Bill Fitzpatrick, who was unable to be here tonight, who was here on behalf of the applicant. So I was not at the last hearing, but I did watch the tape, and my understanding is that we had given all of our testimony. I think the commission was comfortable with all the testimony given, and I think it was Commissioner Fain who had asked, because a neighbor had made a request to be able to review the application, that it be left open for that purpose, just to see if that neighbor had a comment. I had checked in at 3:30 today. I don't believe that neighbor has made any type of comment. I don't think anybody has been in to review the application. So I don't know if there's really anything for us to add, but Bill Kenny's here from William Kenny Associates, and Mike Paterla's here from Huntington Company to answer if there was any questions. But
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Before we do that, I'd like staff to make a brief statement. After the public hearing, staff reviewed it, and Sarah, would you like to make your comments for the record, at least?
Yeah, so I had reviewed some of the comments that had been made during the last public hearing about moving the septic, possibly moving the driveway or using pervious pavement for the driveway. And in my review, I think that because that wetland resource, that is part of where it was located within the upland review, that resource is across the street. I think it's better to put it there than in the back of the house, because there is another wetland resource to the back of the house that I think might be impacted more if it was put there than in the front of the house. Same with any relocation of the driveway. And I think that using pervious pavement for, sorry, my hand, using pervious pavement for one residential driveway generally does not make a lot of, like, I've never seen that done. It doesn't make a lot of financial sense. I don't know if they do that. I've only seen it in more commercial areas.
Thank you. Commissioner
I'll
Fain.
just comment on that. You can use it for residential driveways. It's been done, it's done quite often, but in this particular instance, we already have a very robust drainage system that's going to capture all the, at least the first flow and other storms, so it's all going to be treated. So adding the pervious pavement in this particular instance would be belt and suspenders, and as you said, it's a very costly belt and suspenders, so I'm fine with what they're proposing at this time.
Yeah, I think since I've been here, we haven't required it for a driveway.
Right.
That's
I
all.
think we should keep it in our toolbox, but I just don't think it's appropriate for this one.
All right. So, Commissioner Fain, would you
Yeah, I'll make the motion again to close the public hearing.
close the public hearing? Second? Anyone? Second? Brian? Okay, public hearing's closed. Vote on it now, or we can do it later?
Bunch of them, why don't we go through
We'll do
them all at once?
Okay. Number 2 is WP-22-169 Hudson, 875 Mill Hill Road, map 228, parcel 95. Installation of a curtain drain and deposition of fill in rear yard and construction of an in-ground pool within a regulated area. Last day for public hearing and decision is August 5th, 2022. Last regular meeting prior is August 3rd. Extension was granted until October 5th, 2022. Staff recommends approval with conditions. Council is here. Good afternoon, good evening, Council.
Good evening. We had planned to go forward this evening with our complete application. However, on Monday, we received a 22A19 intervention from Attorney Gumper. He had requested an extension. We were kind of at the end of our time frame to do that. I've had conversations with Attorney Gumper. We are planning on setting up a meeting between himself and our clients to see if we can assuage the problems that, or the issues that the neighbor is having with respect to this application. So therefore, what we'd like to do is to withdraw this application without prejudice, request that you waive any future fees, absent the, the fees that we have to pay for the publication and the notices.
I think that's a great idea, Council, because we always want parties to work things out and get a clean application in front of us. And I would wholeheartedly want a complete application, and I would take into, I hope the commissioners would, with me, vote to help on the fee waiver, because it really is a timing issue. It's not really anything else, and we have this intervention now. So I think if you're officially withdrawing, then we'll accept, I guess, the withdrawal, whatever it is, and then when you're ready, come on back and put that fee waiver in there, and we'll take it up.
I'm only withdrawing if I can have the fee
Yeah,
waiver.
well, I don't think we can do that now, because it's done at the time of the application. Right, so I can't, you would have to file the application with the fee waiver, but there's nothing in front of us to vote on that fee waiver, but I can, I can only say that I know I would vote in favor of that fee waiver. I can't say anything about the other commissioners, but procedurally, I don't think I can have them vote on something that's not in front of us right now.
Okay, all right, thank you.
For the record, that's the only way we can do it.
Okay,
But I can tell you in advance what my vote would be, and I can only hope that the commissioners would do the same thing, because I think we all understand what the situation is.
appreciate
Okay?
it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I say something? Sure. As long as you're withdrawing the application and you're here tonight, I would just urge you to read carefully our regulations, especially those sections regarding information required for a significant activity, and also the criteria for decisions, and also to look at the feasible and prudent alternative sections. I urge you to look at those carefully.
Will do, thank you.
Thank you. All right, number 3 is the map amendment application, O'Malley, 47 Quaker Lane, Assessor's Map 128, Parcel 314. Request to amend Town Map D14 to remove inland wetland soil designation on site. So the decision may be made if the hearing is complete, or the hearing may be continued. The original 35-day public hearing timeframe to complete the hearing ends on November 9th, 2022. A 65-day extension may be provided by the applicant, so the further public hearing continuation date to December 16th, 2022 is possible. A potential continuation date is also November 2nd, 2022. Staff recommends approval of amendment to Town Map D14. Hello.
Good evening, Alexandra Mark, wetland and soil scientist and landscape designer. I have some handouts for you very quickly.
Yeah, please come on up and pass them out.
So this is actually which is showing where the original wetland is mapped on your maps. So the brown area here, this is the property. This is Quaker Lane. And the little wetland encroaches upon this little corner, which in a larger map, it will be somewhere here. I went to the site last year, and I did examine the property. This is a 0.21 acre site, and the area looks different now because of the...
Sorry, hold on for a minute. Can we mute that? Okay, sorry, please continue.
So the time when I went there a year ago, the property looked a little bit different because the grading, which is you can observe now, wasn't done yet. And in the back of the residence, there was a depression. I will call this sunken garden. I don't know how to describe it, but it was surrounded by a stone wall. And I thought maybe that was an old foundation. I'm not sure what it was, but it was a depression. So I did focus my soil analysis within this depression. And also I took some samples outside of the property lines. So mostly I focus on here. And this is the new grading, which is actually existing. This is the most recent survey. And went outside of the property and also took some soil samples around to make sure that there's nothing touching, there's no wetland soil touching the property lines. There were none. At that time, there was a fence here which prohibited me to going any farther. But I did drive around the block, and I did discover that there was a stream. And later on, we did take some measurements from the stream and what I believe also is associated wetland fringe. And that will be the closest point to the corner will be 35 feet. So we are asking for amending the wetland map because there are no wetlands on the property or the area very nearby. Nothing is touching the property line. And if the commission requests, we can actually go and flag the wetland on the adjacent properties if the property owners allow us to have a better idea about where the wetland boundary is. But certainly there's nothing on the property.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any questions?
Yeah, I have some comments. I don't know if you want to wait until we close the hearing, or you want me to give them now. But basically, I don't feel comfortable approving a map amendment in a property that has been filled with 8 feet of fill without us having the chance to go out and verify. Not that I'm saying that Alexandra is wrong, but without having an independent person go out and verify for ourselves that there are no wetlands there. That's typically the way that this has worked in the past in terms of map amendments. We would get an independent soil scientist to go out and confirm the delineation. And I just note, I believe, Alexander, that there's no poorly or very poorly drained soils here, but I do note that there is a floodplain on this property, and floodplain soils include well-drained soils. They're considered antisols. Sometimes they're difficult to discern, especially in areas that are disturbed. And I would have liked to have the opportunity to see if these were floodplain soils, which are regulated under Connecticut general statute. So personally, I object to this application. I think that it could be used to leverage this violation to allow it to continue to exist.
Okay. Commissioners, any other comments or? Nope. Anybody here from the public or online in support of this request to amend? Okay, anybody here in opposition to this request to amend? Or online?
One other question. This map says flood zones and wetlands. I don't see the flood zones. on there.
Actually, I did call the flood zones, and when it's printed, it didn't show them. Maybe the wetland layer is kind of masking it, or this is under. So I was surprised because I actually meant to show you the floodplain as well. So the floodplain basically, the edge runs somewhere here. And so this will consider
It's
it
on
to
the
be
subject
included.
property. Correct.
Yeah, so
It's
From
hard for me
here
to see that. I don't
down.
have great eyes anymore, so it's hard for me to say. It looks like it's
So when you
up
look at
there
it,
on the property.
at the house, yes, the floodplain is on the property. So when you look at the garage and the location of the house, the south eastern corner behind the house and the garage is within the floodplain.
I have one other question. How high is the retaining wall?
The retaining wall is 3 feet high.
3 feet?
Yeah,
Is it taller or just 3 feet? It looked like to me it was taller than that.
it's 3 feet. I've measured, yes.
How did you take the measurement? Where did you go? Outside the property or?
Yes, from outside, yeah.
Tim, maybe just should refer to the building department, make sure that no permit was necessary for the construction of retaining wall.
I did meet with planning and zoning with Matt, and they are going to be asking us to file an application, and we are working with them. And also, most likely, the retaining wall will have to be certified by an engineer. So this is all, today we're just focusing on the wetland, and then obviously next application is going to be asking you to approve the activities.
Well, that's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just for the record, Jay, as part of the violation, both town planning and zoning and building department and engineering were notified. To no
Thank you.
response.
I just want to make sure for the record that this map 47 Quaker Lane flood zones and wetlands does not depict the flood zone as it's not shown on here.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions, comments?
Tim, how quickly could we get an independent soil scientist out there?
I could make a few calls. I know, based on other applications, some of them have been delayed in their field work, but could call around. Within a couple weeks, I'd imagine.
I just do note that, part of the property that we would like to have examined is no longer accessible because of the
Yeah, I was going to say that on the site walk, it seems like it would be really difficult to get to that soil. Now, you said you did this last year before there was fill?
Yes.
Do you have your data that, would you be able to do a report that you might be able to submit?
I did provide the report. There's a
there is.
wetland report which you have on file.
Okay, so you have a report that showed data prior to the fill, Tim?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you. All right, motion to close the hearing,
So moved.
second? Second? Pete? Okay. Second was Pete, but Jay was first.
So we're waiting now for you to select a soil scientist who's going to be going and reviewing the property. That's what was voted?
Not yet. With that, we just closed the public hearing.
Okay.
So now we have to move on with our agenda, and we'll vote. And if we vote to do an independent soil scientist,
I just would like to add that the soils were tested as required, and
Yeah.
the floodplain soils were also, the area was also tested for.
okay, thank you. All right, now on to Roman numeral 5, applications awaiting public hearing. WP-22-258, Fairfield Housing Corporation, 980 High Street, map 77, parcel 340, construct a 40-unit assisted multifamily affordable housing development within a regulated area. Application type is significant, with a public hearing scheduled for November 2nd, 2022. All right, now applications for receipt, Roman numeral 6. One is WP-22-289, JP Franzen and Associates Architects, PC, 60 and 22 Brett Road, map 168, parcels 40A and 40. Construction of a new dwelling with driveway, drainage, subsurface sewage, disposal system, in-ground pool, pool house, and solar arrays within a regulated area. Application type, not significant. Public hearing. Petitions received no as of 9/28/22. Petition period ends 10/19/2022. Last day for public hearing is December 9th, 2022, and last regular meeting prior is December 7th, 2022. Staff recommends tabling application pending legal notice and departmental review. Motion to table?
I have a comment before we make the motion,
okay.
if you don't mind.
Comments?
I looked at the application briefly, and it seems that it's a large development, and there's lots of activities, not within the wetlands, but closely and adjacent to the wetlands. And I would just ask staff to, I know they haven't commenced the review that, but they've recommended it as non-significant, but maybe look at this as possibly being a significant activity.
Okay. Yep.
If you think it's significant, you can vote tonight on that, too.
I don't know that the rest of
Yeah.
the commission has looked at it. I just looked at it tonight, and personally, I feel it is a significant activity, but I don't want to speak for the rest of the commissioners.
I'll second if you want to make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we consider this to be a significant activity.
Okay, and Peter second. All right. All in favor? All opposed? Just me. Okay. So it'll be a public hearing. It's a significant, application.
Do you want to vote on when you want the public
yeah.
hearing?
What do we have? The November 2nd? Is that 980, November 2nd? Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll put it on for November 2nd, okay? Because this is just a new dwelling. It's not okay, yeah. All right, Roman 7, bills and bond releases. Number 1, IWP 2020-21-21, Aquino, 645 and 701 Hillside Road, construction of new single-family dwelling with in-ground pool, stormwater detention and subsurface sewage disposal system on each lot. request of Walter Stapleton for partial bond release of $23,800 of original $30,900 on the 645 Hillside Road, and partial bond release of $29,400 of original $35,700 on 701 Hillside Road. Bonds to remain, $7,100 on 645 Hillside Road and $6,300 on 701 Hillside Road. Motion to release, anyone? Okay, Brian, motion. Anybody seconds? Kate O'Mahony seconds. All right, all in favor? All opposed? I think that was unanimous, okay. Number 2, IWP 2019-20-08, Miller, 550 Old Oaks Road, invasive species control, create rear yard and construct house addition and covered deck within a regulated area. Request for final bond release of $1,000. Okay, motion to release $1,000 bond. Kate, and seconded by Dabney. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Now we'll get to the Roman 8 legal enforcement actions. Number 1, it's continued show cause hearing, Janine Norwood, 120 Wakeman Lane, Southport, map 246, parcel 5C, clearing of wetlands, vegetation, and deposition of material within a wetland. I don't see anybody here. Tim, have you heard anything from anybody?
Yes, I did receive a email yesterday from Craig Flaherty of Redness and Mead, the professional consultant representing Ms. Norwood. They are in progress of preparing a restoration mitigation plan, and hopeful that that will be brought to the November meeting.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they'll just be put on the agenda for the next meeting.
That's their intent, goal. I have not met with them as they had stated in before this meeting.
Okay. Do we need a motion to continue it or anything, or we just continue it, right?
Yeah, that's just I think just for update purposes.
Okay.
For them to let us know that they're still making progress.
Thank you. All right, this is number 2, Cynthia O'Malley, 47 Quaker Lane, map 12, parcel 318. Conducted filling, grading, landscaping of a map wetland and regulated area without a permit. So this relates back to what we just had. Sure, come on up.
So when I met with Matt from Planning and Zoning, his question was how much of the fill was deposited, and we did have a surveyor who provided us with the updated survey of the existing condition, and also he calculated for us the fill amount, and it's 235 cubic yards, which per Planning and Zoning, if you have less than 250 cubic yards, they will be able to process the application at the staff level. This is my understanding. That's what Matt stated. So I just wanted to share this with you because I think that's exciting.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'd just add that, Planning and Zoning is a different agency. This is the wetland agency.
Right.
And we have to consider the impact to wetlands and water courses, and it's a floodplain. And that one of the functions of a wetland, as you know, Alexander, is to mitigate floodplain impacts. And we need to know what the impact is and what the impact is going to be on the neighboring properties before we can even consider leaving any fill there.
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions? Any other comments? I know when I went out there, we did that site walk. It didn't, we've seen some much worse wetland areas, and I just didn't, even with the fill, when you look at some of the neighboring properties, it wasn't, that was my opinion. It just didn't look like it was a huge issue. But I do understand Commissioner Fain's point about the floodplain. Just didn't seem like it was, let's say, like Wakeman. 120 Wakeman is a little bit different, and you know that that's
No,
big.
I don't know or not this could be a part of mitigation because floodplains are about the storage capacity for the flood water. But there was a Caltech installed to mitigate for some of the runoff. So at least some of the hard surface existing at the site now being infiltrated to the Caltex.
Oh.
I'm not sure or not this is a big mitigation, but at least it's something.
It's something. All right, great. Thank you. Tim, any comments or anything?
I just have one question. That's new information to the department. Do you have any additional information or details on Caltech location, size, capacity, or could we get that?
I have the updated survey which I shared with you, and I'm going to send it electronic to Sarah. And maybe you already have copy because I did share it with Matt. I'm not sure or not the Caltex are there. If not, we will be more than happy to show them.
Yeah, the drawing we have in front of us now
But I have the
doesn't show that.
information about the size, and we'll have pictures of when they were installed. There's one unit which was installed, so the information could be provided.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Should we then continue this until you get that information, Tim?
That would be my recommendation.
Okay. Well, I'll just continue that. Okay. Number 3, show cause hearing Lobo, ATL Builders, LLC, 447 Stratfield Road, parcel 31, map 202. Deposition, filling of material, disturbance of the natural and indigenous character of the land, ground disturbance, and conducting a regulated activity within a regulated area. Ms. Lobo? Okay, Tim, did any... it says guest 1. Would you happen to be online, Ms. Lobo? Nope. Tim, any communication from Ms. Lobo?
I have had some communication with her this week on multiple occasions. Also, for the record, at her request, I provided her with, I believe, 5 environmental consultants local to the area to provide her with the soil sampling services required in my cease and desist order related to the deposited fill material and that was distributed across the site. I was contacted by 2 of those consultants looking for more information, which I provided. So she is actively pursuing the soil sampling. As far as I know, as of today or around midday, she has not contracted any of them yet. But
Okay. At least
there is some forward progress.
all right, well, then we'll continue that, and hopefully she'll move it along. Number 4, show cause hearing, Zhao, 137 Woods End Road, map 145, parcel 70. Deposition, filling material within a wetlands, watercourse, disturbance of the natural indigenous character of the land, ground disturbance, and conducting a significant activity within a regulated area. Anybody here for that? Mr. or Mr. Zhao? Is anybody online? Okay, so do you know that she's coming? Yeah, that'd be great. Well, we'll just continue that for a minute, okay? And I'll just move on. 9, staff report. Reports from the Conservation Department. You're just giving us numbers with this, right? Or do you want to talk? No. So CWC permit applications received is 14. Notice of violations issued 1, and bonds released 4. And then number 2 is site walk for September. We have 60 Brett Road and 137 Woods End Road. So what are good dates?
Just note the correction, September is past. That is, that's staff error.
I was just reading, sorry. So we're talking
just note that October.
for October. Yes.
We won't be using the DeLorean to go back to September, so, yeah, whatever Wednesdays work for you. There will be a coming Concom meeting for the 19th, so that Wednesday would be filled.
Yeah, let's try for the 26th. Commissioners, you okay with that? Yep. Whoever. That's true.
Should we say 6 p.m.? Is that too early for people?
It might be. Yeah. When? Oh my. Yeah. We can try. All right. Well, let's try. Let's try for 5 o'clock on the 26th. Yeah. No? Okay. Yeah, maybe in the future, now we might have to go back to Saturdays or Sunday mornings or something because of that. So we'll see how this goes on the 26th, and if it's too dark, it's too dark. All right? All right. 10 is other Aquarian Water Company Hemlock Reservoir Dam repairs. Is that just like an update, Tim?
Yeah, that is just an update. I placed those files on the cloud. Just there was some schematics and site plans submitted by Ty and Bond on behalf of Aquarian. The reason you'll see a notice that I posted there that they had provided to the first select woman that I was forwarded. It just states their intent to do some repairs to the dam. Under my belief that that's an as-of-right activity. I confirmed that with town council, and they concurred. But I just wanted the commission to know because it was work in a water course.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll go back up to Roman numeral, is it 10? No, I'm sorry, 5, 8? 8. Roman numeral 8, number 4. Show cause hearing, Zhao, 137 Wood End Road, map 145, parcel 70. Ms. Zhao, I think I saw you come in. Come on up, please. Yep, please sit and you can speak into the microphone. It's already set up for you. Oh, please feel free to sit down if you're more comfortable. Yeah.
Okay. Hi. First, I want to apologize for the trouble that I'm bringing it's a raining day. So anyway, yeah, I wrote everything. I'm afraid I won't be able to have the words, so I'm going to read what I wrote here. So in compliance with the order, I already have retained a site monitor, and I'm in the process of getting a contractor established, and I also started the inland wetland application. I spoke to Tim a few times last week. And I was directed to begin to implement the first 4 items denoted in the order, and then complete the permit application. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So I made this mistake while trying to improve overall the drainage of the property, unaware it is a wetland. And indeed, I would even need permission to do it. So I found out that I have broken the rules afterwards. The fact that the property is within a wetland zone had never been disclosed to me. during the course of the real estate transaction, closing or any time thereafter, I called my closing attorney. I asked, like, just like when I trip, I don't even know why I trip. So I want to find out how I can avoid anything like this. So I did call him saying that how would I have known that I'm in the wetland? He said that he looked at the file. He said that the disclosure that the previous owner put, they checked unknown. So also, I went to town clerk's office. I got a survey map of the property. It started on town file map that it is a drainage easement. And I also got a copy of the survey done by the previous owner in 1990, which refers to the subject area as a drainage easement as well. In neither document is any area denoted as a conservation easement. Well, I found out after I did the work, so I'm not saying, I'm not grabbing onto, but this is just kind of backed up my initial idea why I started. From my observation, water comes and goes, and when rain comes, then it goes. So it just keeps staying in my yard, and I just want to get the water going. So anyway, so I have a friend who bought a property in Fairfield with wetland, and they have the survey from the town labeled the area as a conservation easement. So they even sent me the survey that they had from the town with the wording conservation easement. So I have the survey from the survey map from the town clerk. It says drainage easement. And this is the survey done by the previous owner in 1990. Also says drainage easement. So I'm completely unaware of the wetland back there. Also given the fact that my neighbor's property has a whole bunch of stuff on it. So I just took it granted. So this is my neighbor's property. So they have the whole, you won't be able to tell there's anything. They covered it completely. Meaning, so this is my neighbor's, this is mine. You see, this is the water just goes through underneath the fixture. So just by looking at it, I just know we could tell it's a wetland. I just see water, when the water rains, then it stay. I couldn't tell just by looking at the setting there. So anyway, so all I was trying to do is to expedite the water out of here to improve the water flow because it was just standing there. It was stagnant water that wasn't draining. As a consequence of that, I had a flooded basement this year, which caused concerns that mildew could result and worsen my daughter's allergies. And last summer, I had dealt with a mosquito issue, which caused my daughter to suffer from infection resulting from insect bites. And plus, my yard is soggy, so my dog is muggy often in the raining summer. So I had for the work that happened, I didn't just try to do my own. So I hired a contractor to help to reduce this potting area that forms in my backyard after each rainstorm. I was never advertised by the contractor that the subject location in my backyard was in a wetland zone. I trusted the contractor's judgment and would have expected that he would know better, at least know better than I did. Okay, I live in Fairfield more than 20 years. I just moved into this location like 2 years ago. So I'm a single mother of a special needed child and a first-time dog owner. I love dogs. I love them. So anyway, I'm working very hard, juggling lots of stuff, and this is far beyond the cost I originally anticipated, and that it is far too much of a financial burden to imagine at this point. So I paid for the contract to do the work. So I was holding so I have my front door last year, the whole winter, I put a weather stripe to seal it. I didn't use the front door at all the whole winter because I felt like, so I put my money on the yard because I feel, I can do the same thing for this winter. However, when I have flood basement, I couldn't deal with, I can't just not use the door. That's fine, that's okay, So when I had a flood basement this year, I was using, I had 2 high school kids to help me to pull the carpet, and they watching me using towels. I threw all my towels in the bucket. So I was using towels to put the water in the bucket to move it out. Then one of the boys said, you could use a wet vacuum. I have no clue what is. I never heard of it. I don't even know such thing, wet vacuum. So he told me, then I called Home Depot. Of course, it ran out. So I asked my friend. Then one of my friend had it. So I brought it over. I don't know how to use that wet vacuum. So my next door neighbor, so he showed me, then he left. So I started to try to get the water out. Then he came after dinner. He's a wonderful neighbor. So anyway, I'm seeing situation like this, I really don't want to deal with it. That's why I put my money on the yard instead of on my front door. I'm planning to do the same thing this year, again, the front door. I'm just going to wear the stripe. But anyway, so I'm saying this is like a last straw. I'm trying to really get the place, nice and peace with my daughter. She's a special needs, and just today she has no school. I'm trying to get this done. She felt stress. She would not stop talking to me. I didn't even have time just to writing even in my head, but to speak it's different. I didn't have time just to read it a couple of times, so I had to step out. I was in the car just because with my daughter, nothing, everything's difficult at this point. So anyway,
Ma'am, take a breath. We're here because this is simply our staff went out and saw that this activity occurred. Many people come in front of us, saying I wasn't aware, but I can tell you that you're probably one of the first people that came up that almost immediately has hired people to do things. So you're going down the right road, and those people are going to be helping you. And they're going to be working with our staff, and it sounds like you already started the process for an application for a permit.
Yes, I did that. I went online, filled everything until I have a question, then I called the team.
So you're doing the right things. Work with your contractors for financial reasons. There's nothing we can do about that. But when you do file it, maybe you can file a waiver application as well, if that's something that we could consider. When you file your, permit application. But for today's purposes, we've heard your efforts, and I'll applaud you for it. And this is just going to be continued for you to continue to do what you have to do. Okay?
I would just ask, so this is show cause hearing, and I guess we have to vote whether to uphold or.
The first time down, yes.
Uphold it. So I'd ask Tim to present any evidence he has, so we could make that vote.
This is my neighbor. Brian.
Hello.
Julie's neighbor. I'm just here to
Support.
she comes away with
Okay.
all that she's going to do.
Right. So what we're going to do next, because this is the first time that it's down in front of the board, our staff, Tim, and our director is going to tell us what he saw out there, and then we have to decide if it is an actual violation, if he was correct in issuing this show cause and cease and desist order and having the show cause hearing. And if it is, it's just almost procedural. Like I just said, she's well on her way to doing what she's supposed to be doing. All right, Tim, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Zhao. She's, again, I'll just note for the record, she's been very cooperative and making strides in the right direction. We've talked over the phone and in person several times. So I believe her intentions now are to correct it properly and swiftly. So thank you for that. When we received a call that this had occurred on a Saturday, not this past Saturday, the one before, as a nearby neighbor had called the police. There was a cement mixer in the driveway, and forms were placed in the watercourse, and they were placing concrete inside the watercourse in the back of the parcel. Length end to end was about 70 feet, and a sidewalk-like structure was formed and cured inside the watercourse. That's what I observed when I visited the site, I believe that Monday morning. I spoke with Ms. Zhao, and we went over the violations. The back, in addition to the deposition and concrete, trees and shrubs have been cleared from the banks of the watercourse. There wasn't anything left. Nothing had been stabilized for erosion, sediment and erosion controls. And when I was there, the concrete had cured after almost 2 days. There was no water on the concrete following a rain, so I believe that material has displaced, any flow that would have existed. That is a tributary to a greater wetland and watercourse system. And that was most of the rationale for the order.
Thank you, Tim. Commissioners, any comments, questions?
I have a question. Can someone explain to me how filling in a tributary helps with drainage?
I don't know that it does. A lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about drainage, and it's just, a fairly technical subject that requires an engineering background. I think a lot of people feel that they have an intuitive approach, but often it's wrong. So if you displace the volume there, that water has to go someplace, and it will probably go into another property if there's not a low spot on this property.
Right. I'm wondering if by filling in the water course, you haven't made your problem worse. That water needs somewhere to go, and if that's an active water course, that water
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
Can we
Can I show you? Yeah.
Again, not trying to.
Because today we have 2 days of raining. My yard is not soggy at all. It's not squishy at all. So can I show you the picture?
Sure, come on up.
Now we the draft like the word off.
Yeah, the question is that we might have even allowed that, but you needed a permit. We would have probably said that we're done of natural materials like gravel and maybe some plantings so that the stormwater gets what they call renovated and cleaned up. I don't know why the contractor decided to use concrete. It's not usually appropriate for these type of situations.
Right.
Certainly can help, but there's other alternatives that we have to
Similar
consider.
results in other materials. Yeah.
And also, I'm not sure, and again, I have to look at your property. I'm not sure that actually is connected to the flooding in your basement. It may be, it may not be, because usually basement flooding is a high groundwater situation, not a surface water situation. But again, I haven't seen the property, but it might not cure that problem.
Okay.
I think
Thank
what
you.
they're attempting to
Yep.
do is have a
Yeah.
curved culvert where it would kind of not inhibit flow,
Right.
but encourage it. I think that was what they were,
Right.
that was the attempt anyway, from what I could tell.
Okay.
Not that it's right, but that was the
That's what it,
attempt.
And I'll also just note that contractors almost always don't understand conservation easements. So unfortunately, you weren't aware, but many times we have violations in this room due to contractors not being aware. And it's unfortunate because you put your trust in them and they want the business, so they go ahead and do whatever they want to do because they know it's you here, not them. So,
Yeah, she can't move.
so I'm sorry that you had to
right.
deal with that.
Yeah, if I got to stop by anyone along the way, now I have to have a sit here at this moment.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make a motion to uphold the show cause here.
Okay. Anybody second? And Brian? All in favor? Yep. Yeah. All right. So what we just did was we voted that our staff went out there, observed the violations, and what he did was correct. That's really all we did just now. But you're well on your way to fixing that. And with the permit application, with your site monitor, with the people that you're going to get, I think it'll be just fine. So we're just going to continue this and see how we progress, okay?
My only concern for Julie was, and I read over the letter, it looked like it was 2 15-day increments where, day 1 to 15, it was like 5 steps, and then day 16 to 30, it was like another 4 or 5. So
Yep.
I just want to make sure she has enough time
Oh,
and resources to do.
If she stays in touch with Tim, it'll be just fine. Because we're not going to talk to her again for another month.
Correct, yeah, and the
we'll have a
reason,
sidewalk.
the rationale for my, my breakout was because my feeling was filling in the water course, I want to avoid any catastrophic side effects on adjacent parcels. So to get the concrete out of there as soon as possible, I would be typically starting the clock tonight. So I know she's already, ahead of that. So I did see, I think you might have alluded to it, there was an email from her site monitor about a half hour before the meeting started with dates to begin the concrete removal process. So that'll be fine as long as we stay in touch and we see progress. That's the reason for the timeline.
No.
What if I did everything I required?
Do you want to come up and, I don't know, say who you are? I don't. Into the microphone, please.
I'm another Julie. I'm Julie's neighbor.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just wondering.
So you're just helping, I guess?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
I
So
mean,
no,
yeah.
what I was mentioning is she has to file a permit application to get all this work done in a wetland area. She can file a waiver for the town fees for that permit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have no control over her contractors.
Yeah. Do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's for the remedy.
For the remedy.
The
So
remedy.
so really what that letter was is stop any work that you're doing and do what we tell you kind of to do, remove the concrete thing. But once you've done what in that letter, you have to come back to get permission to do the work that you need to do in there. All of that.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah.
But is it a wetland? I mean, what is an easement in terms of, is that a wetland? Is that considered a wetland?
That's why you're here. It's a wetland.
Okay.
Yeah,
But-
it's an area that's regulated by this board.
But it wasn't mentioned on any of the maps. Is that okay?
The map that she needed to refer to was
It
the
does
town
mention-
wetland map.
Yeah.
And the survey from the previous owner doesn't have it until I went to Tim's department, and then they give me a map. That's how I found out.
Yep, that's, it's unfortunate, there's a lot of maps that map different things. So the wetlands map is the specific map that needed to be reviewed.
But I am concerned that if you had a title search done, there wouldn't
Yes,
have been
yeah.
something on a title search. I heard you mention a drainage easement. I never heard of such a thing, but it should have been on your title search.
Well,
Right.
I know a lot of people, Julie and I are on the other side of the road, so we don't have to deal with this at all. But I know everyone that's lined up on both Woods End and then the parallel Lawrence, those properties are dealing with they're dealing with, and everyone deals with it their own way. I do know that when she showed me some of the papers that she got from, I guess during the real estate transaction, the previous tenant put unknown. If there was like a water, sorry.
Right.
That was loud enough. Usually people tell me to be quiet. Oh, okay.
Right.
So, yeah, I know the previous tenant put unknown when the question was like, is this a water,
Yeah, those are.
wetlands kind of
those-
issue? So what
those
is that, just that for curiosity's sake, because everybody on that side of the street I've heard this, I've been there 25 years, I know. But what's the protocols for just making sure that new tenants coming in or prospective buyers know what they're getting themselves into?
That's what the title search
Yeah.
does. The title search should have disclosed the encumbrance on the land. And if it I can't imagine that it wouldn't have.
Right.
I don't want to open it.
Do you
know,
have your title search?
So,
that done when you bought the property.
Well, that, yeah, you'd have to talk to your attorney.
I can
yeah,
tell
you
you
really,
paid
you
for
should
it.
talk to your attorney. There's two searches that occur more often than not nowadays. You know, I mean, you said you just bought it, but a municipal search wasn't one of them. But in the last 10 years, give or take, when an attorney does a closing, he does a title search and he does what's called a municipal search, he or she. The municipal search is where these people, these searchers, go to all the different departments to see what is affected. Do those departments have anything that regards this land? So somebody would have gone to the conservation department and said, is there any wetlands here? Is there any issues with this? And they would have provided the information in that municipal search. So, you know, your attorney saying to you, oh, the disclosures say unknown, that's a real estate disclosure between agents, real estate agents, not by attorneys looking at the land. I don't know what your attorney did, I can't say, but that's really where people get their information. It's from the municipal search itself. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Any other,
All right,
Oh, yeah,
so,
Julie had one more question. So we remedy the situation, apply for the permit, maybe get a waiver, maybe not, to begin the remediation work on it. I know all this,
The waiver is just for the fee.
just for the fee for
Yeah,
the permit, which,
okay,
you know,
yep.
that's, yeah. But I do know, I guess Julie's question is, what can she do if she continues to have these issues? She's got some pumps, and everyone on that street is still has issues. We get hit with a hurricane or a storm, it's, you know, you got ponds in the backyard. So it might not be 100% due to the wetland issue, but I worked in the water business for a while, too. I know it's a contributing factor. It has to be. It's moving water through the property. So what can she do to follow the rules, like, instead of what she did?
She can look at, private contractors, people that specialize in that type of work. And also, there's resources that the town, building department, health department, that may be able to help her out.
So there's resources in town that she can.
Yeah,
Got it.
people in town are pretty helpful. The engineering department, they can help advise.
There's also a flood mitigation commission, right? For the town?
sure.
I think if you go on the town website, I'm pretty sure that there is a board,
Flood and erosion control.
flood and erosion control, and they may be able to guide her in the right direction.
Great.
By any chance, I could, I'm just saying, I'm trying to say that, okay. I'm trying to say that I want to do the right thing, I want to make it right, but just can't bear the financial burden. Any way you could minimize that by minimizing the work I have to do, by any chance here?
Unfortunately, that's not anything we can control. We can only, you know, we have an obligation to the town, and we have no control over contractors. Maybe you can work something out with the contractors, the people that are going to do the work for you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so one of our commissioners had mentioned to you, you know, these contractors come in and do the work and they just take the money and don't really do any homework. So maybe the folks that poured the concrete, you might have a heart-to-heart conversation with those people and say, you know, hey, you harmed me here.
Yeah, maybe they could bear some of the cost for the removals instead.
Maybe, yeah.
They didn't look like any permits or, you have their information?
Yeah, I have the contract information.
All right.
I know, not for
Any-
not for here.
No, but wetland stuff, you know, but, all right, so, so we're pretty, there. She'll keep in touch with Tim, yep, and that's it, yep, yeah,
Okay. All right, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
your time.
thank you.
Thank you.
good luck. All right, I know we went past it, but I notice, I'm gonna go back to number 3, in Roman 8. It's show cause hearing continued Lobo ATL Builders LLC, 447 Stratfield Road, map 31, parcel 202. Deposition, filling of material, disturbance of natural and indigenous character of the land, ground disturbance, and conducting a regulated activity within a regulated area. Hello, Ms. Lobo.
Hello, how are you?
Good. So how have we progressed?
Well, after the last hearing, I contacted a company to perform the analysis of the soil, and they were scheduled to do it on September 21st. However, I forwarded the proposal to Mr. Bishop, and he replied that there were 2 items missing from the list. I, in return, sent the list back to the company, at which point I received an automatic response indicating that that agent would be off till September 27. I sent you all that information. I didn't hear back from him, so since then, I obtained a list of other contractors, and at this point, I called 2 of them, just in case one doesn't respond. Now I have 2 proposals, and hopefully we'll
All right. So
be
you're
able to get that done. I don't know how long this
What-
normally takes.
okay. So you are doing what you're supposed to do, and sometimes it takes some time, and you're in touch with Tim, is that correct?
I am. I just
Yep.
didn't know that I was supposed to come back here.
Okay.
I thought I
Okay.
was done. It was a done deal. I would forward the analysis or the company to conservation, and I didn't know
We're
that.
going to continue every month. Now, if you don't want to come, and if you do have some updates, give them to Tim and let him know you're not coming, but he needs to let us know, or you need to let us know
Right.
what your
No,
progress
I did.
is.
I
Yeah.
did.
And-
I kept in touch
Yeah.
with Mr. Bishop all along,
Yep.
and so there was a back and forth email correspondence where between the company that I originally thought I was going to hire, but I'm not sure what happened because I haven't heard back from that agent. So, but I moved on to
Okay.
someone else.
Well, just continue doing what you have to do and be in touch with Tim. Okay?
Okay.
That's it.
Do I
for
have to
today.
come back?
Again, if you have progress reports to give Tim and tell him that
Okay.
you're not coming, then that should be fine. If you don't do anything,
Oh, I am going to
okay.
do something. I
Okay.
don't want to continue doing this
Right.
for sure. It's we'll definitely get it done as long as. I
Yep.
think now we're in the right direction.
Okay.
Where I got 2 quotes.
thank you.
All right. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
free to go.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, free to go, free to go.
Thank you.
No bailiffs here. Okay. All right, so I think we can discuss the public hearings now. So the first one was the 80 Hubble Lane. Commissioners, any?
I felt that they met the burden of proof, that there will not be a significant impact to wetlands or water courses or irretrievable loss of any resources. Yeah, okay. They've complied with our regulations and the criteria for decision, that they have complied with that. That they've mitigated properly. I'm fine with the wetland line that Bill Kenny delineated. They have a very robust, proposing a very robust drainage system that would mitigate both water quality and water quantity impacts. And for those reasons, I would recommend approval, and I'd be happy to make such a motion to approve the application.
Okay. Commissioners, any other comments, questions?
I just want to say for the record that while this particular application requiring a permeable surface for the driveway may not have a significant impact to overall conservation efforts, I believe very strongly that this commission should start to set a precedent for permeable surfaces in all driveways, commercial and residential, because if we begin to do this, then each property as a collection can make a significant impact. So while I support this application, I wish that I had seen more support for a permeable driveway.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioners, any other questions, comments?
I also was concerned about the driveway and the drainage, especially with Brown Brook being right there on the other side of the street. I agree with Dabney, but I take Sarah and Tim's consideration that they feel that it's not going to be a significant impact, but I do think going forward, it would be nice to see a change.
Okay. Sarah, you had mentioned when you were explaining this to us that it might be a financial burden for the permeable. Is there any way, just as a informational exercise for the rest of us, can we get quotes? Like use this as an example, if you will, and do quotes of how much would it cost for permeable versus impermeable, so that we might have a reference point. Is that something you might be able to do?
Yeah, we can try and find out something with that.
What is that?
Yeah, and I just want to add that there are many communities across the country that require permeable pavers in their driveways. I happen to be building a house somewhere right now that requires it as, just as of course. So, I stress that as time goes on, we can set a precedent for that.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, I don't mean to say that we shouldn't be using that. I just felt under this, we should be using the best management practice that's applicable under the situation. I just felt under this particular application that they've addressed that water quality concern, but certainly we should be looking at rain gardens and impervious pavement and biofilters and bioswales in all our applications, and using them wherever applicable.
Excellent. Commissioners?
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah.
No, I was just going to say, if
Yep.
Ms. Bowen wants, if you have any information on the pavers that you're using, if you want to send those,
Happy
we
to.
can look that over too, because that's not,
Happy to.
that's not been
Absolutely.
something that has been required, but I'm happy to look into it and try and do.
We do it all the time. I
Yeah.
can give you a lot of information.
Oh,
We have several projects
Yeah.
that are
Oh,
using
no,
it
well,
right now.
so I wasn't, when I was talking before, I meant more like the permeable asphalt that you see in
We have
parking
that.
lots,
We've
and
used
that's
that,
what
so we
we.
have, New
I
Hampshire
haven't
has a really
seen-
good website on
Yeah.
it, but we've used the permeable asphalt, permeable concrete, we use permeable pavers, we also use grass rings with, it helps that, we've done all those different things, we're familiar with the per square foot cost. That's one of the reasons why I kind of didn't want on this, probably would have been about a $20,000 additional cost, and I just didn't feel that it was a bang for a buck there.
I'll just add that there are ratios that for certain paver products where the gap between the pavers
Yeah,
allows
we-
the water to drain through. So
Yeah,
that
usually it's like
makes
half
it
an inch.
less onerous financially, but I can get you some of that information.
Excellent. Yeah, it's working together right there. Nice. All right. Any other questions, comments on this application, commissioners? Nope. All right. Jay, did you mention you can make a motion?
I did make a motion.
Oh, you
I think
did?
there was a
Okay.
motion
Anybody
on the
second it?
floor.
Did anybody second? Peter seconded? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? All right. Carries on unanimously. All right. Where are we? All right, the second one was the map amendment application for 47 Quaker Lane. Questions, comments, thoughts, commissioners?
I guess I already expressed my concerns regarding this application. I personally am not in favor. I don't think this is in responsive violation. I don't think we had adequate time and resources to investigate whether there was wetland soils in this. Again, it's not just poorly drained or very poorly drained soils. I looked at Alexander's soil report. The profile she has is a entisol, which entisol is a body of soils that Code and Company floodplain soils. I just feel like we should have a clean slate in evaluating this violation, and that this deregulating this area provides leverage for us not to look at that application in its entirety. So for those reasons, I'm making a motion to deny the map amendment application.
Any other comments, commissioners? Anybody want to second that? Okay, Peter seconds it. Jay, I hear where you're coming from, and obviously you're really, that's your bailiwick, that's what you do. I just, on that site walk, just when I saw it, I just felt a little differently. I know there's wetlands there on a map. Maybe there's this floodplain thing, but it just didn't look like it was gonna harm. The houses are so close. I don't see, a vibrant wetland, area like across the street from 80 Hubble. That seems a little different. So that's my 2 cents on it. Okay.
I just add, and then, again, everybody's entitled to their opinion, I respect that. I have worked in that area. I worked on the Gould Manor baseball fields for fall when they were renovating them about 5 years ago. During that time, there was a major rainstorm and the pond flooded. It overflowed over the field, washed through the field, and washed right through those backyards, and some of those houses were actually flooded during that event. The filling of a floodplain removes an area where the water is supposed to go. And again, we haven't any technical information that isn't, that won't be an impact. But again, this isn't really addressing this tonight. It's just whether it's a regulatory wetland, and I just don't feel there's sufficient evidence. So my motion stands.
Yep. And it's seconded. And any other comments or questions? Any other? Nope. So it's Commissioner Fain's motion to deny that's been seconded. So if you're voting in favor, you're denying the map amendment. So all in favor? Opposed? Abstain? Okay. So it carries 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 1 abstention. So the map amendment is not carried. Okay. I think that's it. We can adjourn. Any other questions?
I'm sorry. My question only was that when we had the initial discussion, Jay, you were talking about if they had an independent soil scientist come in and do something. Is that something that they could come back and then resubmit this with some independent?
Typically, we would hire that independent person as a third-party review.
So can I have a technical question? So what our options are means that we shouldn't be taking step number 2, or we should now file an application with, I don't know, with the wetland being still on the property, because I don't know where we're supposed to go next. Because you're basically saying that you do not believe that the wetland was not there, and you believe that the wetland was there, therefore you're not correcting your map, because that's what you voted.
Tim, I would think it's an application, right? For
Yeah,
approval for the work that they did.
Well,
No, that
to
was the wetland amendment.
Alexandra's point, that was my next question, was with the denial, my original suggestion, which is how we got to this point so far, was to, because they did commit a violation the way the map stands now, then we would deal with remedies after. However, step 1, which was just voted on, was to amend the maps as the maps are, showing wetlands or not. So since that was, if the maps did not contain wetlands, then the violation would not have occurred except for the work in a regulated area from an off-site setback. So with a denial that to me clarifies that the wetlands mapped on the site are wetlands.
Right,
So
but
just
they
to-
would proceed in the same fashion. If they wanted to retain the fill and the wall there, they would have to file an application with this agency post-violation to retain it there. And I don't think there's any difference in terms of the pathway.
Correct. So just for clarification, that that application that you would file now would be IWP and not a CWC.
Can we refile the another application for the amendment and bring 2 other experts and show that there are no wetlands? Or we don't have this right because you're basically saying that you don't believe us and there is a wetland on the property?
We didn't say that we didn't believe you. We
No,
said
no, no,
that
but I just would like to know what the implementation
I don't know
is.
how you would get down to the original soils there, so bringing other soil scientists to the property. But I don't think that we could stop from another map amendment application. That's your right. But
Well, I think it's easy because we don't have to take the fill. Basically, we'll just probe around the corner of the fill. And if we can prove it, that the lower area than the filled is also not a wetland in immediate location, then obviously there is no wetlands on the property. I think that
you have to make that case. That's to me, that you're jumping to some conclusions there. I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. I'd have to see the information.
Okay, so you're saying that we can refile the application, provide 1 more wetland delineation, 2 more, because my client is really on low budget, and that's another issue which she struggles with. I do not want to follow Julie, but she is really budget constrained, and we just would like to make sure that, and she will have to go through 2 more application processes, which is going to cost a lot of money. And I'm just trying to protect her and make this reasonable.
Yeah.
And I would like to understand what needs to be done at a low cost to satisfy you and move forward and solve the issue, because right now we are kind of back to square one.
I just, we didn't create this situation, and I'm sympathetic, but, a couple of different things. There is a violation, whether it's in the upper end review area or not, I'd have to talk to Tim about, but I still would want to see this agency be involved in whatever rectification there is, and I wouldn't be comfortable having this handled just by staff. As a CRC, I don't want to see it because there's a potential impact there. So
Right.
One way or another, it would come back. I would want it to come back before the agency. I think if we were going to pursue the map amendment thing, I'd like to get somebody independent rather than you just hire another person. I
So
think the
Tim-
agency should
Well,
hire
we still
somebody.
have to pay for it, so it's not
Yeah.
going to be independent, right? Because the town is not going to be.
Yeah. So one way that we can do it is we file another map amendment, but file it with a fee waiver, and then when it comes in, we can ask for an independent person to go do it. So instead of, I guess you would pay for it, but it'd be an independent person, and then if you get to the same place we are now with your second application. So file a fee waiver if you want to come back with a map amendment.
So I guess you can undo your vote, because
We can't undo our
it
vote.
would be good for you to actually request additional soil scientists, and I was hoping that we are moving towards this direction, so I was really surprised that the vote went other way. And this way we will be obviously paying, but you will be selecting the soil scientists, so it's not like this will be our choice, so we can move forward and start solving the problem. And I understand that we created, but at this point, we are really putting our effort, and now we have to go back to square one, and we're not solving anything at this point.
Yeah, so-
Alexandra, you're familiar with this process. You've been doing this for how many years in Greenwich? And so I'm taking umbrage to this, that this isn't the first time you've seen this happen before, and you know the process. Really, don't put this on this agency. We didn't do this, okay? I really, you know what needs to be done. You know that's a regulated area. You know there's wetlands there and that there's an impact. So don't put this on us like it's our fault.
I just want to say that if we were to have an independent soil scientist come and uphold your findings, and there was a fee waiver submitted for a new application, I can say with confidence that I would be not only in support of the fee waiver, but also if the independent findings are concurrent with yours, that I would approve the application.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Commissioner Bowen there. If that would be the better, I think the cleaner route for you. Do it again. We'll vote on an independent soil scientist, and if the results come in, that
Thank you.
you'd be better
Okay.
off that way.
Thank you for the
Okay, thank you.
directions.
All right. Anything further, or motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn, and second, okay. All